And y'all don't know what I went through.
Do you have a card in your hands right now?
Nike Talk was that place that spiraled what you enjoy now.
Anyone who brought a Kobe shoe in, I would clean it for free.
Man, Melo was better than a lot of people in the league.
I saw that. My favorite jersey is that one, the Barkley.
Kobe fours.
Oh, yeah.
Episode 35. This is the Dandin and RJ Machismo podcast. This is Dandin. Tonight, the co-host RJ wouldn't be here tonight, but he says what's up to everybody. So tonight we got a special guest. We got the homie Barry Ancheta, hailing from what parts of Cali? Corona?
I'm in Corona, California right now. Yeah.
From Corona, California. So he is a sneaker collector, also a small business owner, and also a sneaker restorer. So thanks for coming on tonight.
Thank you for having me, man. It's been a long time. Been excited to jump on and just talk sneakers and life with you.
There you go, man. That's what we're all about. So, just a little background about yourself. So tell us more about yourself, Barry.
My name is Barry, and I do a lot of things, man. Like, I'm into a lot of different scenes. I've had a lot of hobbies and passions in the past, and pursued each one and just try to see how far I could take it with each one. And one of them being sneakers. I'm into cars, obviously hip hop. I think a lot of that just comes from who I am, where I was raised. I was raised in the Bay Area in the late 80s, early 80s and 90s. I mean, it was all about basketball. Then it went to sneakers, then it went to music, then it went to cars, and then just it's like all cycle. Everything just connects with each other. So I've worked retail management for a long time, and then I got into collecting sneakers a little bit later in life, but I've always loved sneakers ever since I was a kid. Just like the rest of us, parents couldn't afford them, so we would get what we get. And then when I got a good job and started being able to afford, I started collecting pretty heavy. And then it got kind of crazy, ended up selling my collection and then rebuilding it. And in that started learning how to mess with like used sneakers, started to do cleanups and restorations. And one thing led to another. Eventually started my own business out of my bathroom, transferred into a shop. And then recently with COVID, I kind of left that and just now my plan is to just reignite that and, just work out of the house, low overhead, and just focus on the craft and just continue to get better and offer a good service for people.
There you go. Because, you are you're a craftsman, right? You're a master of your work. So a lot of like fine detailing with restoring sneakers, a lot of attention to detail. So, those things are, something that's highly skilled like you. And I've seen your Instagram page. It's Soulworks, right? Soulworks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Soulworks _
Yeah. So I see you do a lot of great work. And then we'll definitely get into that. So just want to try to put it back from way back. So tell us how you got into like collecting sneakers, or how did you get into sneakers?
So what got me into sneakers, I went to a Catholic school, and in a Catholic school, everyone wears a uniform. And then in the 80s, I mean, it was all about playing basketball. Michael Jordan, Magic, Larry Bird, all them cats were just playing ball. So recess, we would just play ball. And one of the things that would differentiate one kid from another, if you're wearing the same thing, is their sneakers. And so I had some classmates that were like obviously a little bit more well off than me. So they would be rocking, Jordans. The first ones I remember is like the cement threes, black cement threes back in like 88, 89. My homie Joe had those, and then he just dogged them, man. He burnt them out, but I would like them. They look cool. It was something different than what everyone else was wearing at the time. And then I remember he got the Andre Agassi Air Tech challenges, the Volt color, and those were wild. And then I remember like the upgraders, they would get the, one of them had the Air Tech Challenge Lava, the hot pink, one of my favorite shoes, man. And that was the first shoe that I saw, and I was just like, dang, those are just amazing. I have to have them because they had an air bubble, and back then not all Nikes had an air bubble. Mm-hmm. So the Jordan 3s and the Air Tech Challenges, those are the first ones that I remember having an air bubble. And anyways, like obviously you ask your parents and they would think I was crazy for asking them for like an $80 shoe. So I would just dream about them, and in class I would just draw them. Like I remember sitting there drawing, the 4s and the 5s. Like this is literally year after year, because that was the prime of what got me into sneakers. And I would just always say, someday, I'll have them. And then, that was my earliest memory of sneakers. And then the years went by. My interest in sneakers was just mostly in the tech, like early 90s. I started to love the new technology that would come out. Obviously you have the Jordan 4s and then the 5s that look like a fighter plane. And I mean, that was just cool. And then I remember the pump came out, air pressure, air command force, the Reebok pump. Like those were just like the most amazing thing to me, because I would swear that like if I had those shoes, I could slam dunk, just because, it fit good, it looked cool. And then you would look cool on the playground. So those are some of my early memories as far as shoes. But I could never have them. So I remember even going to the mall, and then, you would go to like a Foot Locker, and I would ask to try on the shoes, and then I would try them on, and then no one would be looking. I would steal the little tag, the pamphlet, and then you'd open it up and it'd be like the cutaway of like, it'll show the upper, the midsole, the air sole, the little blueprint. I would just start taking those and collecting them. And then I would draw them. Like I would take them home and trace them and just like have little pictures on my wall of them and just really obsess over them. So then, after time went on, my interest, I guess, kind of shifted away. I pretty much stopped playing basketball. I got into high school, and around then, that was like early 90s. I started getting more into like music and stuff. So I didn't really have like a huge interest in shoes. I had a couple pairs that I would get occasionally, but nothing like a collector status back then. It was just more celebrating every time something new came out and just being like, oh, that's cool, like everyone's wearing it. But then I would probably just have like some basic kicks, back then. And then as far as collecting, I mean, that happened a little bit later in life. I would say maybe my early 20s. So let's say 2000 and 2001, 2002, 2003, I started paying attention again, because that's when they started retroing like the 3s and the 4s, and then the cool gray 4s came out, and then I just started watching, and then I just had barely gotten a job, or a good job, so I started making a little bit more money, and then eventually I told myself, all right, it's time, let me start buying shoes. So that's when I started buying sneakers, man, and then one thing led to the next, and it just kind of went crazy. And before I knew it, at one point I had like 350 pairs.
Good. All right. Hey, don't feel
pretty
bad.
Insane.
Don't feel bad. So let me ask you this, Barry. Like, when you started working, like getting your first real paycheck, what was the first pair of sneakers that you bought for yourself?
This is an embarrassing story. Anyways, so I was looking on eBay. eBay was like new back then. This was probably 2000 and maybe like 2003, somewhere around there, 2003, let's say. I really wanted the 4s because that was my favorite Jordan. I had remembered, when my boy Joe would wear them, like I remember he would just dog them out, and that was a shoe that really I was attracted to. So I went on eBay. I looked up Jordan 4, not knowing really anything. I just found the one I wanted. It was in my size. It was $89. And I was like, cool, $89, ship it. Came from China.
Oh.
I didn't know any better, right? I just wanted to have them. So it came in, I tried them on. I was like, yeah, and I was so excited, man. And then like maybe about a month after I worn them every day straight. And then about a month later, one of my homies came to my house and he was like, hey, whose Jordans are those over there on the porch? And I was like, oh, those are mine, dude. He's like, they're fake. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, man, they're fake. Like they don't look anything like, the originals. And I'm like, how do you know? And then he started like pointing out things, and he goes, let me guess, like the box was all smashed and it came from China. And he's like, you probably paid like $100 for him, huh? I was like, yeah, I did. And so it was pretty depressing, man. Like I want to find a picture. I'll find it someday. But after he told me they were fake, I remember I put them on my porch on the ledge outside because I live in an apartment. So I put it on the ledge and I put a sign and said free.
Man.
And someone took them. I mean, but I just felt so like and then from there I started paying more attention to shoes. And then shortly after that, I got a couple of Jordans here and there. Nothing that I can really remember. Probably like I don't know, maybe Jordan 14 last shots and
Mhm.
a couple of random ones. Like I really didn't have an idea what I wanted to get because there wasn't a whole lot of retros back then in the
Okay.
early like 2000s. And then I stumbled upon the Tiffany Dunk. And so when I saw that Tiffany Dunk, I was doing research online on something, it came across. So this was probably 04, 05. And man, that shoe was just beautiful to me. The first time I saw that shoe, it's actually right
I
there.
see it. Yeah.
Beautiful shoe, man. Like that was my grail. But I mean, back then it was pretty expensive. I want to say they were going for like maybe $200 to $300. I mean, I thought that was a lot of money back then. Maybe they were a little bit more, but they weren't like obviously now prices, but they were up there. And so I said, I want to get those someday. And then because I couldn't, I started looking for regular dunks, and then I started realizing, wow, there's all these different colors, and every dunk has like a story behind it. So I started hitting up like local skate shops. In the area that I lived in the East Bay, we had Cali Skates, and they had a dunk account. So I would just walk in, and there was dunks just sitting there. So I don't even remember what the first one I picked up was, but I got that. And then that kind of started a chain reaction to where kind of like back in when I was in the music scene buying records, I would hit up every single shop in a weekend just digging for records. So I started doing the same thing with sneakers, and just kind of going crazy. Like I would have a route up and down the Bay Area, and we would hit that, like me and the homie would hit it up like, I don't know, it'd be like a whole all day thing. We'd leave in the morning, go up to, from where we lived in the East Bay. We'd drive up to like San Leandro, Oakland, and then take the bridge to San Francisco, hit up all the shops there, and then go all the way back down to like San Jose, hit up the Great Mall Outlet, and then drive all the way back up home. And so for months and years, we would actually do that route, once a month, sometimes twice a month, sometimes every week. Like it was pretty crazy, man. Like I was pretty wild back then. And obviously I didn't have a lot of responsibility, no kids. I didn't own a house. I was just renting back then. Very minimal responsibility. So I had a lot of expendable income. I was just copping whatever, man.
Wow, that's so you've had your peak of collecting. You said you had up to 350 pairs. Is that right?
Yeah, 350 pairs.
So how many pairs do you have now currently?
Right now, so it's kind of cool that my wife bought me these boxes because now it's kind of limited, if it's not in a, I mean, I still have quite a few that's not in a display case, but I would say maybe like 100, 120.
Okay.
But I keep it flowing. I keep it rotating, and we'll probably talk about like how I rotate my collection out in a bit. But now about 150. But when I sold my collection, I probably kept maybe like, I want to say maybe 15, 20 pairs. I kept stuff I didn't want to get rid of. So obviously my Tiffany's, that was my grail shoe. I sold my collection to help fund my wedding back in 2000, and I think it was 2011. So I started selling off like car parts and bikes and just DJ equipment, like everything. And my shoe collection, I was like, oh, that has to go. So I sold it for, like, I don't even want to think about what I sold it for.
You don't have to worry about the bill. Bill, you paid the bill off.
I would do it again in a heartbeat for sure. Yeah, 100%. But I can't help but think like, man, if I kept them till today and sold them today, I probably would have at least tripled or more, just with some of the stuff that I had. But like I said, I would do it in a heartbeat. The return on investment has been great. My wife, my family is beautiful. So there's no giving that up at all. Hey, I would do it again if I had to.
Hey,
for sure.
And you have a wife that supports your hobby, which is cool.
That's probably the biggest gift that I got out of this whole situation. Like, I talk to a lot of guys, and I know dudes that are like my age, have been married forever, and they still hide shoes in their trunk because they don't want their wife to know, and I think my wife really, she genuinely understands it. Like when we got together, that was me, that was part of the package. And she was always into sneakers too. I mean, just not so much Nike. She was mostly into like, runners, like Reebok Classics and
Okay.
Osaka Tigers and Sauconys and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Just comfortable sneakers. No, nothing flashy, nothing hype. Just like, she liked them. Like she has. I'm sitting next to her heel rack. She has a rack of heels right next to me. And then she has her own version of this on the other side of our room. So
Okay.
it's pretty crazy. But yeah, no, I'm definitely blessed to have not just my wife but my kids, man. My kids just love it too. Like, my daughter's she's gonna be a junior in high school, and she's just always loved sneakers. She's always had it since she was a baby. Same thing with my son. Like, his middle name is Jordan. So that was one of our things. So pretty
Wow.
dope, man. I'm a lucky guy to be able to enjoy my passion and have people that uh that are close to me that support it for sure.
Yeah, that's dope. I mean, like I said, nothing against like, you know, uh, having the common interest with like your significant other, but yeah, that's definitely a plus. How like you and your wife has that mutual understanding. Hey, like you were saying, this is part of the package. I like sneakers. I'm not hiding anything. Whatever I get, it's all out of like out of negotiation, out of a good price. And no, we'll definitely talk more into that, like how you acquire your sneakers.
Yeah.
So that's dope. Like that's also part of having a open and honest communication. So that's really dope, man.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, that's another big thing too. I know there's a lot of sneaker collectors and people that have had large collections in the past that listen to your podcast. And that's one of the things, man. Like, when you make that decision, like, I'm gonna let go of my prized possessions, it comes with a lot of responsibility as well. Like,
Hmm.
um, I make it a point to where, obviously this costs a lot of money, right? Like, I
Hmm.
have I have you know, a pretty solid humble collection.
Hmm.
Um, but I made the decision early on, like, okay, I love sneakers. I'm always gonna love sneakers. I didn't sell my collection because I was over it. I sold it for a purpose,
Hmm.
right? But does that mean I'm gonna stop collecting sneakers? Because I know a lot of OG sneaker collectors that just they sold all their stuff back, 5-10 years ago, and then that's it. There's a wrap. They just wear like Chucks and Vans.
Hmm.
But I made a decision at that point, a conscious decision to say, you know what, this is who I am. This is what I love. I'm not gonna stop it. But my priority is my family, and they need to be fed amongst everything else. They need to be
Hmm.
housed, So how can I acquire what I want and not have to tap into our day-to-day life, my day-to-day livelihood,
Hmm.
like my regular paycheck. So I took it as a challenge. I was like, you know what? Like I told you earlier in text, like my mom said, if there's a will, there's a way. So I had to figure out a way to be able to pursue my passion and not have it financially impact my family as much as possible. You know, every once in a while I'll pick something up, or we'll splurge a little bit and buy a couple things at the Nike outlet and whatnot. But for the most part, I've really had to be very crafty with being able to figure out how to acquire these shoes and not have to tap into my actual paycheck to do it.
That's great. I mean, like I said, a lot of people get tempted, especially when you get something that you've been wanting, or a highly sought after release. Of course, like either you pay for the retail, or you pay for the high. Um, and like me and my co-host RJ, we stress about being patient, and if you don't get it, you don't get it.
Right.
But there's also there was a point in time, and for all of us, that if you wanted something, and luckily the resale wasn't that bad during that our time of collecting. I didn't pay like 1,000 or 2,000. I mean, to me that's like ridiculous. It's way
Yeah.
above my ways of like, hey, like this is not even collecting no more. This is not even right. It's like an obsession already. So
Right.
I think that's great. You have that fine line of, okay, I can rotate my sneakers. If I don't like something, I can always like sell them, trade them. And I think that's the beauty part of it, because, like you were saying, like you took upon yourself that you wanted to challenge yourself. All right, if I don't like something, I can just trade these pairs, 3 pairs, 4 pairs, for a nice pair that nobody wants anymore, and I got it at a pretty good, reasonable trade or good price.
Yeah, that's true. And it didn't like click right away. But it took some time. I mean, like I said earlier, I had a lot of other hobbies and stuff. One of the things being, I've always been into cars, and it kind of started with car parts because I was building cars like, Civics, um, and I wouldn't want to pay the price to buy parts,
Yeah.
at retail. I would
Yeah.
want to get them used, and a lot of times you can find them used cheap. Back then it was Craigslist and eBay,
Yeah.
so I would just scour through those websites constantly and find parts used. Sometimes they'd be broken, sometimes they'd be dirty, and so I would just clean them up and try to do the best I can to fix them and get them repaired, and then slap them on the car, and it was like good as brand new. And then when I didn't like it anymore, there would be value to
Yeah.
it, so I would sell it or trade it. And essentially that's what I did with sneakers. After I had, normal pairs of shoes, I only had like, 10, 15 pairs. I was like, okay, I started looking at what I had, and I was like, all right, do I really want this? Do I really want that? And then I started putting some up for sale, like what left I had. And it wasn't always easy. There was times where I've been selling sneakers because I really need the money. Like we had no money, but that's where it kind of clicked because people would hit me up for trades, even though I was trying to get cash. And I'm like, well, if I could trade this one pair for 4 pairs, I could sell 2
Yep.
and keep 2, and then I'm winning,
Yeah.
So that's when it kind of started, happening. And then, I was just constantly looking for deals on Craigslist back then, and then OfferUp came out, and man, that story once.
Yeah. And
Facebook.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like in the short time span I got to know Barry, like, not because we're Filipinos, but the fact that, we have we have a common interest, sneakers, and trying to get them for the best deal that possible. You know, like me and RJ, we talk about player price, and then when I see like, the stuff that you've been getting, and then you tell me, hey, like I got it for this price or that price, I'm like, that is insane. Like that is just what I used to do. And like part of that too, and what me and RJ miss it. We do miss it dearly, is that of course it's time consuming, because you have to look through all the websites, you have to look through the apps, you have to go through the stores. During that time, for us, it was the hunt, the hunt of like not knowing what you can get that day. And I remember like me and RJ would just go to the mall. We would go to Champs, and then we see all these shoes for like 19.99, 29.99. People didn't want them, so us we were like,
Yeah.
what? This shoe was like $200, and they knocked it down to like 29.99. Of course, that's not even no hesitation. You
Right.
just get it 100%. Um, so I'm kind of like gauging it towards that way, Barry. So tell us more about like your logic on how on getting good deals, like you were saying, like OfferUp,
Yeah.
eBay, Facebook Marketplace. Um, what is the other ones?
Craigslist.
Mercari,
Yeah.
Craigslist. So tell us more like your logic on getting these types of like deals.
I mean, being in sales for a long time, you kind of learn. I've studied sales, and I've managed sales and taught people how to sell. So you kind of learn that a product is only worth what somebody is going to pay for it, right? The value is only worth what somebody is willing to exchange, whether in cash or within trade. So with that in mind, it's like I see these ridiculous prices, like off-white Jordan 1s for $4,600. Like,
Sheesh.
do you I could guarantee that I go through my contact list on my phone, not one person would pay in this contact list would pay $4,600 for one pair of sneakers. Not one,
Me included. Me
right?
included. Yeah.
So is there people that do? Apparently yes, because the market price is high because somebody has either paid that or something close to it. But in reality, the normal person, right, is not going to pay that money. Guaranteed, right? I don't think anyone is going to pay that much for one pair of shoes. Now, with that in mind, it's kind of like almost reverse psychology, like you're gonna someone's gonna post something for sale, and whenever I'm selling on OfferUp, it's always gonna be marked up a little bit because that's the name of the app, OfferUp, right?
Mhm.
So I'll price it a little bit higher. Somebody's obviously gonna lowball me, and then we'll negotiate back and forth up there. if the negotiation as far as price doesn't work, then I entertain trades, and I always would rather trade because I'm not a reseller. I'm a collector and I rock all my sneakers. So I'm not trying to really come up on people. I just would rather have something that I could put on my feet and rock and enjoy either forever or maybe just a couple times. And based on that depends on how much I'm willing to pay, how much I'm willing to trade. But when I'm offering it, it's player prices all day, man. Like it's
Let's
no holds
go.
barred.
Let's
Like
go.
it depends on how much I want something, right? So let's just like for example, what's one that we picked up? One that I picked up recently.
Yeah, give us an example, because like I kind of it took me a while. Like, how does Barry get all these like player prices? Like, oh, okay, I get it. Like, it's just like light bulb. So if you want to like let the listeners know like how how you negotiate a certain item that you're looking for.
Yeah, let's look at there's a couple different things, right? So let's just look at something that's like high value or something.
Let's go.
So like let's just do this one already.
Ooh.
So UNC, and this might not be the best example because these are beaters, but it does kind of segue into how I got into cleaning and restoration.
Okay.
So this is a pair of UNC off-white ones. They were fairly beat. They looked worse when can't really see it on camera, but they looked worse when I got them. I mean, I showed you pictures of what they look like, the condition, but I cleaned them up a little bit. I didn't really go hard on them because I just wanted to wear them already, so I didn't want to take too much time. But essentially, I was at the flea market, the Rose Bowl flea market, and I was walking around and this guy had these on a table, and he had other kicks on there, but it was these and like some other dunks and stuff like that. So I knew he was into older dunks. So I walked up to him. I mean, these things were trash. They were dirty. There's a lot of heel drag on it. But I looked at them. I was like, what size are these? And they were my size of 11 or 12 or whatever. Theirs are 11. And I said, hey, how much? And he said 400. And I know the market on these. Yeah, he was asking 400 cash. Okay. Right. So I kind of in my head, I was like, all right, that's reasonable. Obviously the condition is pretty bad, but here in SoCal, I mean, I know it's different in like state to state and area to area, but in SoCal, there's a lot of cats that rock stuff. Like they live in LA and they just wear it every day. That's their only pair of shoes, like Heat, and it's trash and they still want a premium for it, right? So $400 for these is pretty insane cash. Anyways, I was like, you know what? I was like, are you open to trades? This is like literally at the flea market. And I had a pair of shoes with me, like an All-Star one that was pretty beat. I got those from a homie for $40. And then I had some other off-whites and stuff like Terra Tigers, nothing special, but I just wanted to feel this guy out because I knew when I saw it and I knew his price, I knew somehow I was going to work a deal with him. Right. So he's like, yeah, I'm open to trades, but what do you have? And then I showed him the ones, and I could tell just by the way he was looking at it that he was kind of interested, even though they were pretty beat, but they were in better condition than these. Right. And so I know that what the market on those is probably, maybe 100, 150 tops on like that actual shoe. And so it would require a multiple trade. And that's exactly what I told him. I was like, I could do those in like either cash on top or those and like maybe another pair or two. And I was like, I'll tell you what, like, I didn't want to pressure him too much because I knew he was just trying to sell them. I was like, I'll tell you what, what's your Instagram? Let's keep in touch. And then when I get home, I'll take pictures of whatever I have and I'll shoot you some pictures and then we'll go from there. So he was like, yeah, that's cool. And then I hit him up later on that night when I got home. And I asked him if he still had them. He's like, yeah, I still have them. So I started sending him just random pictures of things that I had in my collection that I've already decided to either sell or get rid of. So long story short, I had two other pairs, a pair of Dunks that I got on eBay for $40. It was like a black and red. It actually looks like the ones that dropped the undercover today, the ones that dropped today.
Yeah.
They're lows though, so they're 2010 black and red lows. I got those on eBay, $40. And then gosh, what was the other pair? My Ray Guns. I had the Ray Gun SBs which I absolutely love, the tie dye, and I don't
Tie-dyes.
like a lot of the re-releases,
Yeah.
quote unquote, but those were fire. It's just that those were a size 11,
Okay.
and then the SB Dunk I can't really do an 11.
It's
I
too
make it
fat.
work,
Yeah.
but it hurts after a
They
while.
they
So
snug. Yeah.
yeah, so I couldn't wear it as much, and I was trying to trade it for a 12 to someone because I've done a lot of size swaps, but
Mhm.
no luck. So I was like, tell you what, I'm gonna give you my ray guns and these dunks and these all stars. So ray guns I bought for 120. The two pairs of dunks I bought for 40 and 40, or the dunks and the ones I bought 40 each. So that's $200.
Okay.
So he wanted 400 cash. I spent 200 out of pocket. To me, that was a win. I mean, even
Yeah.
if the condition was bad.
Yeah.
And then also in my head too, I was like, worst case, if these shoes don't check out for whatever reason, I'm only getting got for 200,
Mhm.
right? Even though the market value on those three pairs was higher, I still won. And the guy's legit, he runs his shop, so I don't think he would do me like that. And I checked them out, legit checked them, got like 4 or 5 different opinions, and they're all fine. I mean, there's some things that the fakes just don't do right. You know, which is kind of a whole other discussion on if you're gonna play this used shoe game, or the
Yeah.
offer up game, you're gonna take some L's, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that like I said, like you were saying, it comes with the territory, right? Sometimes you get
Mhm.
burned. You get burned with fakes. You get burned with bad deals. You get burned with overpaying. That's you have to take your L's and learn from them and move on.
Yeah.
A lot of people get so butthurt. They're like, no, I don't want everyone to use it again, or I don't want to sell it again, or I want to buy again. So at least you have that positive attitude, like, you know what, this is a lesson learned for me.
Right.
Yeah, I bought some Jordan 4s that were fake, back in the day, but it's okay because now I know how to legit check them. I know what
Exactly.
stuff to look for. So that's crazy,
Yeah.
right? Like, when you gauge your prices on how much that you want to put on top cash wise, do you go by the amount that you paid for or the amount that it's worth current day?
You mean like if I'm selling or if I'm buying?
Like how you were saying about your off price, right? So you're saying like
Mhm.
40 plus 120, so that's what, 200, right?
Yeah.
So do you gauge, because those are the prices that you paid for, right? Do
Right.
you use those prices that you paid for, or do you like fluctuate it a little bit by like $50, $100 more? So that way, okay, so these shoes are worth like 250, 300. I'll add 100 on top. Do you sometimes gauge it based on that,
Yeah.
or
Within reason. It just
okay?
happened. Like I feel like those shoes is a pretty fair trade
Mhm.
because if you really look at GOAT, which is probably the only not real, but it's hard to compare StockX because I don't really have any dead stock sneakers, right?
Right.
So GOAT is probably the only place I can go to look at a used shoe that's being sold in the premium market because
Okay.
eBay's hit or miss with the pricing. So I go on GOAT and I look at a couple used pairs to see one if the shoe's even on there because I have some old shit that's not even on GOAT,
Yeah, yeah.
especially used. Then I look at roughly what the used pairs are going for, and then go with the condition, box, no box, yellowing, cracking, whatever. So like that, I'll just break it down. So that 2010 bread pair on GOAT, they're actually going for 250, 400, or 250 to 300 in my size 11. I think that was an 11 and a half.
Right.
So 250, and then the ray guns, those are going for I think 250 and up.
Mhm.
Some people want more depending on the condition. So that's 500 right there. And then the all stars. I mean, the all star pair that I gave him was pretty beat. I had scuffs. It had chips on and then heel drag. So I would say roughly 160. That's like
Okay.
if I went by street value, he got like a good. Like if I was him on the receiving end,
Yeah.
I could flip each one of those for
Oh, of course.
200.
Of course.
Roughly. So I'm winning. Especially when he spit out that 400.
Yeah.
When he spit out that 400, I knew already, like, okay, I'm gonna be able to work this
Yeah.
deal somehow. And I told my wife, and then I told you. I worked
I
on this
know.
deal for
Yeah.
like a week.
Yeah, yeah. So like, how long was the negotiations between the?
I would say yeah, like on and off like a week before I locked it down.
Wow.
Yeah. And then
Wow.
finally we came to an agreement. And
Good.
I shot him. I was trying to obviously come up. I had other pairs that
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
care about as
yeah.
much. What did it was the originally I offered him the ray gun and the all-star.
Mhm.
He's like, I don't know if the value's there. And then I didn't want to give up those breads at first because I actually
Yeah.
liked those. I rocked them
Right.
and I felt like I came up on those.
Right.
But then I was like, there's really nothing else that I'm willing to get rid of. And I have a lot of black, red, and white pairs of shoes.
Hmm.
So if I want that vibe when I'm wearing it, I could just wear, my bread ones, my Chicago ones, the same shoe basically, right?
You're right.
So I was like, all right, I'll let these go. Got them for $40, no hair off my back, and
Yeah.
let's see if he goes for it. And he
Yeah.
said, yep, immediately.
Damn.
So drove out there, met up with him. Cool guy, super cool guy. He does a lot.
Yeah.
He does mostly vintage stuff. He doesn't really do
Yeah.
sneakers. He's mostly into like shirts and jerseys and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So, but yeah, that's just one example. I mean, other things, I mean, I think that might be useful for people is like when I'm searching in the aftermarket, like when I'm looking on OfferUp and Facebook, sometimes I don't search the obvious. So like I was telling you, like a lot of people will type like super specific searches like
Yeah. Yeah.
bread 1, size 11, Jordan, Nike,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
That's only going to give you a small stream. So I'll do one of two things. I'll if there's something specific that I want, let's say like today I was looking for cement 4s. So I was looking for the white cement 4. I just type cement 11 and a half and then see what comes up.
Right.
Nothing comes up, I'll just type 11 and a half, or I'll just type cement, because sometimes if you type 11.5, they're putting 11 and then 1-2 in their listing. And that would never
okay.
come up if you put 11 and a half.
Right.
So I go I play with the search words, and I get
Okay.
different results. And when I'm
Damn.
hella bored and I just want to buy something or trade, and I'm, I'll just do a regular random search for
Yeah.
anything. And then I'll just sift through and see what shoes pop up in what size. And I also play around with the area. Like, if I have cash on hand because I've been doing some, shoe trades and deals and I have cash, then I'm looking local. If I don't have any cash, I'm checking eBay and I'm checking like shipping, because you can ship through OfferUp too, which, sometimes it's hit or miss.
Yeah.
But I've done, deals with people that are like on the other side of the country,
Sheesh.
and that's worked out too. But it's like if it's a steal, it's a steal,
Mhm.
So yeah, that's how I search. And then you can, on OfferUp for sure, you can lock in specific searches, and I think you can do that on eBay too. I just learned
Yeah.
that. So if I'm actively looking for, a Chicago 1, you could type Chicago 1 and then your size and then lock
Mhm.
it in, and then anytime someone lists something with those words, it'll pop up. And the value in that is if it pops up in your notifications, you're usually one of the first people to get it, to see it.
Wow.
Kind of like this black and white pair that I picked up.
Yeah.
I just went on a general search. I searched nothing. There was nothing in the search bar, and I was scrolling down, and then I seen the shoes, and the listing was Jordans. That was it. That was the title,
Yeah.
Jordans.
Yeah.
And I want to say the N and the S were reversed, so it was like Jordas.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he spelled it wrong.
Yeah.
And I seen the shoes. I was like, dude, those are 2014 black and white OG highs.
Yeah.
So I hit the guy up, and then that story. I hit him up like after 5 minutes of him listing it, and I think he was asking 180, and then we
Mhm.
negotiated the price a little bit. I said 120. I live 40 minutes away. I'm gonna come right now. And then I went to the dude's house. He wasn't there. His neighbor was like, I don't know who, I don't know.
Damn.
And then, long story short, I was texting you like, dude, what do I do? I think I got, stood up. I just drove hella far. I got to go to work. I was like, damn, I'm going to take my L. And then I took off. And then the next thing I texted you was, yo, I got him.
Damn. So like, what happened? Like, was he away from the house, or like, how did that all?
I think this dude was just like lit, man. I think he was like on drugs or something, because
Oh shit.
he just spaced out. Like I
Yeah.
told him, hey, I'm leaving my house. I'll be there in exactly 35 minutes.
Yeah.
And then when I exited, or when I was coming close, I texted him.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, I'm almost there. Then when I was exiting, I texted him again. He stopped responding at that point. So I'm like, what's up? And I park, text him again, nothing. And then I walk outside. I go to the gate. I'm like looking around. There's no one there, but the window's open. And then his dog's barking at me. And I'm like, well, if he's going to hear the dog, he's going to open the door. Nothing. And then like I go to my car, I text him again. And at this point, I just call him like, hey, man, maybe he fell asleep or something. Nothing. And then I'm like, you know what? This sucks. I just drove 45 minutes. It's pretty far from my house. I'm going to hit traffic going back. I don't want to leave without something, So
yeah.
I'm texting him this whole time, like a long message.
Yeah.
And he's not responding. And then finally I go back, and then the guy that I guess rents his room next, like in his garage or something, comes out, and I'm like, hey, is Jesus here? And he's just like, no, I don't know, man. And I'm like, okay, so this dude seemed high too. I was like, but it was a nice neighborhood. So I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, I really don't know what's going on. Long story short, I leave and I'm like 15 minutes on my drive home, and the guy calls me. He goes, yo, I'm here. I'm like, you here? I was waiting for 40 minutes for. He's like, yeah, my bad, man. Something came up. I'm like,
Oh shit.
I was like, well, do you still want to sell them? And then, or he said, do you still want to buy them? And I was like, thinking about it, because I
go back.
was cutting it close, and I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? I already invested all this time. I was like, if you're for sure gonna be there, I'm gonna turn around. I'll be back in like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So I came back, and then he had the shoes, and he had just taken them out of the washer,
Oh shit.
and they were legit dripping,
Yeah.
and I didn't even look at them because at this point I was so pissed off. I was like, whatever.
You
Here
just,
you go.
you
Here's
just
your money.
paid him and just
Yeah,
took him.
paid him.
Yeah.
I gave him $100. It's like, here's your 100. He didn't question it. He was like, thanks, my bad. And then I bounced.
Damn. So you
And
not,
they were
not only
soaking wet.
You knocked it off from 120 to 100 for the inconvenience, because you
Yeah.
just like, here it is. I get
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, man. Like you're also like you're also concerned about your safety, right? Because you're like,
Yeah.
damn, like this guy isn't hitting me up. So that's always something that comes into mind, especially you have a family, right?
Of course.
Yeah, and you're like in the back of your mind, like, what am I? It's like, what am I doing? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. Is it worth it? Is it worth the risk?
Am I doing this? Is it worth like going through all this? So, like I said, you just have to be, just be smart about it. Just gauge the situation.
Yeah.
And if it works out, works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So
I mean, it was definitely a weird situation, because at first I was like, all right, well, he gave me his home address. We didn't meet in a public place, and he didn't
Yeah.
stand me up like that.
yeah,
He gave me his home address, and then I started thinking, well, maybe this isn't his house.
yeah,
So I go back to his OfferUp page and I look at the other stuff he's selling, and all the pictures he took was right in front of the house, so you could see that I was the right place.
right.
So it's like, something's up then.
Damn.
And so I that's why I held on just for a little bit more, and then finally he called me. Long story short, I got him, and then they were beat. I wonder if I have a picture I can pull up to show like what they look like.
I mean, I believe you. Like just just seeing how they're looking now is like they're looking pristine. You know what I mean? I mean, like I said, no, you don't care about the heel drag and the creases. As long as it's wearable for you, and
Yeah.
it is a very nice shoe.
I don't know if the camera is gonna focus. Probably not. But maybe I'll send you a picture.
Yeah, it's fine.
A
Yeah,
little bit. But they were
yeah.
rough, man. The sole was a heavily stained.
Damn.
And that was after he threw it in the washer.
Damn.
And then the leather was all creased up. There was
Yeah.
pen marks, but we got it back to life, man. It's almost
Damn.
there. I'm not done with these. I actually decided to take my time on them.
yeah.
So I've been working on these for since the
That's
day I got
dope,
them,
man.
3 days, 4 days. They're almost there.
Those are
and these
nice. Those are nice pairs.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something you can wear with everything.
Yeah.
Especially
Especially the whole. I mean, the dunk craze and the Jordan 1
Yeah.
craze. I mean, those are nice. So I see you have an off-white one,
Yeah.
Chicago. So if I don't mind asking, like, how did you acquire those? How much did you pay for them? And what shoes did you trade for them? If you did. I'm
All right,
curious.
so I traded three pairs of shoes and cash on top.
Okay.
and the cash obviously came from other stuff that I had been selling.
Okay.
So if I remember correctly, it was a pair of 2013 black toe ones.
Okay.
The all-star ones. It was a pretty clean pair.
Okay.
All-star ones. It was I had another, I think it was a Yeezy, not cream. The what were they called? They looked like they had the cream stripe. Oreo.
Okay.
Yeah, Yeezy Oreo, and then $300 cash. So two pairs of ones, one pair of Yeezys. At the time, the Yeezys were pretty,
Yeah.
they were pretty up there.
Yeah.
And then cash. And then obviously the value of those shoes was probably a bit higher back then, because this
So-
was maybe 2 years.
2 years ago,
Two
before
years
they shot
ago?
up.
Yeah, I think actually no, maybe like a year and a half, 2
Wow.
years. It was a while ago. It was definitely before they were like 4,600 brand new for sure.
Yeah.
But they
So
were up there. They were up there already.
was yours like come with OG like box?
Yeah. So surprisingly,
zip tags?
yeah, surprisingly, this pair. So I had got when we talked about L's. I got on my first pair of off-white ones.
Mhm.
You know, I ended up getting a fake pair. I was pissed off because that was a big trade too.
Mm-hmm.
Not as big because when I got them, it was probably 2018. When did those come out? 2017. It was like a year after they had come out,
Yeah.
and Yeezys were still big, and I had traded like 2 or 3 pairs of Yeezys or something plus cash to get those. Long story short, they ended up being fake. So I had a fake pair with me to compare. And at the time, that's when I was at the shop. So I was a little bit more well-versed about, legit checking. Long story short, 3 pairs, cash, and then that was it. But I had OG all. I think I might be missing.
Laces?
No, has all the laces.
Wow.
The black, orange, green, and white. And then all the tissue paper, the hand tag, all those there. Only thing wrong with them, I would say, is there's like a crazy amount of heel drag on one of the shoes.
Yeah.
But other than that, they're clean. They're actually much cleaner than this other pair.
But you know what? You can say that you got 2 of those off-white ones for a crazy, a player price deal. You know what I mean? You didn't break the bank. You didn't.
That's the thing. Like it's more valuable to me. Not so much the value of the shoe, but what's more valuable is, the pricing that I got it for, and the way that I acquired it. I mean, just like you said, man, you guys used to hit up the sales racks before. I used to do the same thing, man. That $19.99, $29.99. Like I live for that stuff. Like that's more exciting than saying, oh, I cashed out on some, off whites for $1,000. That just doesn't sound exciting to me.
Yeah, because you know why? Like when you buy cheap shoes, and then of course you tuck them, right? So tuck them over time. There's a demand. There's an interest of a certain shoe, and of course, like you play the market, you see the market, and people are willing to pay for that market price. So basically, like that 1999 shoe flipped to like a $250-$300 shoe, right?
Mhm.
So basically, you're reinvesting it, that money, like 10 times worth on what you paid for. I mean, it's just like stocks, and whatever you're investing, you're just reinvesting it back into your sneakers. And the nice part about it is that you're not touching any of your means, which is good.
Right. Yeah, that's the best thing.
You don't.
I mean,
when
I do touch my means,
Here's my thing. We talked about this too, and then the homie Greg, man, they know $40. That's my magic number.
Okay.
If I can get a shoe for $40, you'd be surprised the kind of shoes that I've been able to acquire for $40. I'll even go up to 60 if it's like a hot shoe.
Yeah.
And then 100 would be like I really, really want it. And I'm talking cash out of my pocket.
Yeah.
But $40 is like a no-brainer. You want to see what I got for $40?
Let's go.
Crazy. I got this right here, $40.
Damn.
right?
Chicago
One lows.
Yep.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I think someone in the Sneaker History Discord today posted that they got these for $49.99 when they came out. I mean, that's true because they were at outlets.
Yep.
But personally, I prefer one lows over one highs, like to wear. I wear them all the time. I mean, these things are more beat than when I got them.
Yep.
But I mean, this is the kind of stuff that I was able to find. Again, similar with this one, it wasn't listed as a Jordan 1 Chicago High. It was listed as a low top Nike shoe. Like that was the listing, right? And then when I met up with the dude, and I feel bad for this guy, but the reason why he sold these is because he goes, bro, I got the high top ones, the ones that everyone wants. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. He's like, let me go show you. He brought out the Rare Air. Remember the ones that say Rare Air on the top?
Yeah.
Instead of the Wings logo.
Yeah.
So it was like a bright orange almost.
Oh, he got
like
those.
an infra. Yeah, and he was thinking they were the Chicago Highs. I mean, they kind of look the same, the color blocking. And I was like, oh, those are dope, man. Thank you. And then I copped these for $40.
Yeah, man. You just keep your mouth shut. Just
I mean, it's cool. He was excited about it. And at the end of the day, there's shoes. You put them on your feet. You wear them.
they're conversation starters sometimes, but for the most
Exactly.
part,
Exactly.
you enjoy them.
Yeah.
And who's one to judge? If someone's wearing off whites or if they're just wearing regular GR Nike Air
Yeah.
Maxes that no one cares about. If people like it, rock it. I mean, they're meant to
Yep.
be worn.
Yep. So
Yeah,
you don't have
that's
any dead stock pairs, right? Like you own? You have
right
any?
now. Let me look. I don't think so, man. I
None?
wear everything,
You wear everything?
even the clots that I just got.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I have nothing dead stock. I prefer
Damn.
used.
Yeah.
I definitely prefer
Yeah.
used. For a lot of reasons. One, the price point, right? As you can see, I'm able to get them for a lot lower. And then that's a challenge to me for certain ones that I know I'm going to keep to bring them back. That's actually how like the whole sneaker cleaning and restoration thing
Yeah.
was born, was me not being able to afford sneakers. So I would take a beat up pair, bring it back to life just so that I can wear it and not get laughed at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that started. That's why I prefer used, because I can get them. I mean, I'm not scared of a used shoe. Some people are super, which I understand. There's a lot of risks that come involved, but the longer I've done it, the more I've learned how to properly clean, sanitize, restore. So I never have any weird issues. I've had a couple of times where I'm like, man, this shoe is like beyond
These
beat.
yeah, these so
Yeah,
stink, or I gotta
yeah. Oh,
replace them. I
yeah.
gotta just toss them out.
These ones were pretty bad when I first got them. Also got a couple dunks off eBay, older SBs. I got
Yeah.
some Band-Aids that were pretty bad. Some Shimizus that were pretty bad, but
Damn.
I still wear them. They're torn in the back, where the heel is, and they didn't smell very good. They came from like a smoking home, and some of them
Yeah,
smell
yeah.
like other things than cigarettes. It's
Oh
just
man.
pretty crazy, man.
That's dope. That's dope. So nice segue for this, Barry. So I know you were also a part of a small business, right? Was
Mm-hmm.
it like dealing with sneakers or?
Yeah. So when I started Soulworks, I was doing sneaker cleaning and restoration. And mostly my business was just coming from friends, family, word of mouth, Instagram. I started the Instagram page, and people started bringing me their shoes. And then it got kind of crazy in my house because I was doing it in my bathroom basically. And it sucks. Like my son has to take a shower, but then I'm over here like scrubbing some
You're
shoes.
drying shoes, on the ledge of the sink.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man, it was pretty intense.
Mhm.
But so two buddies of mine approached me. They had been buying and reselling sneakers for probably about a year, a little over, and they were saving money. They were saving up stock to resell. They wanted to open up a consignment shop. So they approached me with the idea to join as a partner. And at the time, I was like, wow, that's a great opportunity, And then I pitched them the idea of incorporating sneaker cleaning business into the consignment shop because, let's face it, I'm not like a crazy reseller. I know the game, I know how to do it, I can do it, but my passion is mostly in wearing sneakers and restoring and cleaning sneakers.
Mhm.
So long story short, I agreed to do it. We jumped on board. I mean, it pretty much blew up, man. Like we had our shop in Corona, United Kicks. And then about a year in, the pandemic hit. And so at that point, one, I was kind of overwhelmed with the amount of workload. And then the pandemic, obviously, in the beginning stages was a lot of uncertainty as far as like what's going to happen. And I didn't know like my professional life because I still maintained my day job. I didn't know what was going to happen with that. So there was a lot on my mind at the time. And I decided we were actually in the middle of a move, and they're going to be opening up soon. Still here in Corona, brand new spot. It's gonna be really dope. But at the time, I decided to part ways with them because I wanted to focus on my own family, my own career, and try to, just I had to put it on the back burner because I was I was a little overwhelmed, man, a little stressed out, a lot of uncertain times, and I felt like at the time I had a lot at risk to be able to continue investing resources into that. And it was a tough call, man. Like I was pretty bitter at like sneakers just in general. And one of the things that brought me back is actually how we met, which the sneaker history Discord. Nick has been a good friend of mine for years. We actually met through the car scene, and I'd been following him and supporting him the best I could. And I joined the Patreon for sneaker history because I felt like there's a lot of value in in what I get from them, their podcast and the content and just them as people. And then the Discord happened. It was like the perfect time, man, because it just put me in a group with people that were basically the same as me, man. We love
Yep.
sneakers for sneakers, not sneakers for resale or, pretty mature bunch of guys and just super generous people. And, there's not one person in that Discord that I think has like a evil soul behind them. They're just
No,
like
maybe
super
like
cool guys,
yeah, they're all
Yeah.
cool. You know what I mean? Like they're all
Everyone's chill.
different in their own way, very unique people.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, that's how we became friends through the Discord. I'm
Mm-hmm.
also part of the sneaker history Discord. I mean, you do have to pay, and it's not bad. I think the lowest one's like 4.99 a month. What's four
Mm-hmm.
ninety nine? People buy
Yeah.
Starbucks $6-7. You know what I mean? I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to tell you what to do with your money, but I think for people that want to see a different outlet on what a real sneaker community is like, and I even told Nick like, hey, like, because I was pretty heavy on Nike Talk back in the day, and I'm sure you know about the whole Nike Talk
Of course. Of course.
community. So like I say, hey, this is like Nike Talk, and even like
Exactly.
even Nick when he was trying to, I think when he did one of his promos for like a for the Discord, he was like, yeah, it's just like Nike Talk. I was like, hold on, like I just said that. It kind of hit home, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So tell us more about so I know you're into restoration, and it's very, I guess, very tedious, right? Like you have to make sure that you get the right color. You have to make sure things are being done in a certain way, or almost back to its like factories like settings.
Mhm.
So how important is like attention to detail when you do a restoration?
It's funny you asked that question because there's different levels of cleaning a shoe,
Mm-hmm.
and I spoke about this with Mario and Nick on the Sneaker History podcast a few months back, but um, recently this question just became a lot more important to me because when I started, um, you know, I would work on a shoe for hours, just trying to bring it back to like as good as of a state as possible. And obviously, in the very beginning stages, it was like, yo, I'm just gonna scrub this down real quick, take better pictures, and flip the shoe. That's all I was about before. Like, just taking the dirt off, putting it in a good place with good lighting, making the shoe look a little bit better, and then that way increasing the value and selling it. Right? Um, is that the right way to clean and restore a shoe? It works for sure. It works, but what's the difference between you and anyone else that's a sneaker restorer? You have to actually, you know, have a lot of passion behind your craft, which means you need to take it up a notch and pay very close attention to detail. Um, like, I mean, I guess this is the closest shoe I have in hand, but um, I'll use this as an example. So, like I mentioned before, the sole was almost yellow. Actually, not yellow. I thought it was yellowing, but it
Mm-hmm.
actually wasn't yellowing. It was just extremely dirty.
Yeah.
There was a very bad like indents, like scuffs on this top portion of the midsole. There was loose threads like all around the shoe, like because the shoe was thrown in the washer. I don't know what else he did to it. Um, and then what else? Like the inside, you know, had like a bunch of sock lint.
Yeah.
Just very small things like loose threads around like the Nike tag. There's still a couple here. Like I said, I'm not done with this one yet. But um, as I was working with on the shoe, it kind of clicked that what's going to separate my work from the next person and what's going to allow me to charge a premium price is the amount of detail that's being put in. Because realistically, I could pick up a Jason Mark kit, scrub this shoe down, got most of the dirt and scuffs off, and called it a day.
Mm-hmm.
And flip this shoe for in today's market, I don't know what would you say, 250, 300 easy,
Yeah.
right? Because DS pairs are going for $1,000 in this
More than
size.
that. Yeah.
I looked it up, and now that's okay, but I take a lot of pride in the work. So, and I have the knowledge. It's just at some point it's do you have the will to execute bringing the shoe back, and how far do you want to take it? So each pair that I get, I take it as a challenge, And I would say that, you know, that was one of the things that got overwhelming when I was actually in a shop, is that when you have, you know, 40 pairs of shoes behind you that are yet to be worked on, and you have to take that workload. I mean, am I really going to be able to pay close attention to each thing?
No.
I mean, no. The honest answer is no. I mean, I could get it done and people will be happy when they get it back, but are they going to be extremely happy? Probably not. So that was another reason I wanted to kind of scale down and say, hey, you know what? It's going to take me a little bit longer, but my goal is to make you very pleased with the end results. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Which kind of, it's funny because I cleaned up those dunks for you.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm not happy with them. So if you want to give them back to me,
No, we're
I
good.
just got some new tools that I could actually probably bring them back even better. You know what I mean? And that's kind of my thought process, is that there's quick jobs, and then there's detailing jobs, and I want
Mhm.
to focus more on the detailing aspect of it. But what's happening to me before was that I was getting all kinds of different jobs, you know, re-glues, repaints, sole swaps, and just like it became very, very overwhelming to where I couldn't even focus on cleaning the sole correctly. I would blaze through that so I could make it to the other part of the shoes. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? Um, so that was actually the something that just came across my mind. It's funny that you asked it, because
Yeah.
that's something that came across my mind, and that's one way that when I do relaunch officially, I want to rebrand myself in that sense, where the level of detail that you're going to get out of a clean, just even just a basic cleaning, is going to be better. And with that's where all the experience and the tools, you know, that I've been able to acquire, that's where all that stuff comes into play. um yeah, that's, attention to detail is
Yeah.
everything. I mean, it doesn't have to be if it's a quick flip. I was actually even thinking about that, making like a part of like a new menu for types of cleaning that
Yeah.
people want. If you're just a reseller, you want me to clean it up so you can flip it, I
Yeah.
can get it there. If you want to clean it up for me because you want to collect it and display it,
Yeah.
I can get it there too. But
Mhm.
if you want me to clean it up so you can rock it and enjoy it,
Yep.
that's another level too.
Yeah.
So yeah, but at the end of the day, I envision, you know, the intention to detail that I want to put into these restores and these cleanups. You know, that's everything. But you know, obviously the business side of it is a whole other thing. Like, what do you want to pay? Are you going to pay me for that time? I mean,
Yeah. And
that's a
then
whole different
time
thing.
too. You can't.
Yeah,
They got to pay for your time. So on top of you working a 9 to 5, and your family and your wife
mm-hmm.
and your kids, what are you gonna pay me? You know, for me to get compensated correctly.
Right,
You know what I mean? So those factors definitely have to come into play, especially when you're going to be, you know, rebranding, you know, your small business, and you know, I'm sure it'll be great. I think it's just a matter of, you know, like what services are you looking to provide? Is it, like you were
right.
saying, quick flip, or do you want long term, something that has longevity, that way you can enjoy these shoes for a long time? Maybe once a year you can get come back to me, I can clean it for you. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, those things, yeah, those, like you were saying, there's levels of attention to detail, like depends on what service that you like. So yeah, man, I mean, hopefully, you know, in time where you start your business, you know, running again, that'll be great for you, you know. And like I said, that just sucks you back into the hobby and like getting
Yeah,
to know people.
yeah,
So man, that's a lot of stuff, man. Like you've been a lot of detail. um so, you know, back with sneaker history, right? So I know that you were at a certain point of your life where, like, you know, you needed an outlet where you wanted to find something, or meet like, you know, like sneaker people or collectors that have the same common. So how much of an impact did that sneaker history, you know, Discord group, like how did that impact you to your current, you know, passion for the hobby?
um I would say, man, it's almost everything, man. Like, you know, real talk, like Nick is someone that I've been following for a while. Then, you know, recently I've got to know Rohit and Robbie, you know, and Mike a lot more just from engaging with them on Instagram. I was recently in Portland with my family, and Robbie was, came out. Rowett was trying to come out, and we met up with Greg, who's like the people's champ in the Discord. But
Damn, yeah, he
I
is.
mean, sneaker history itself, the podcast is what I would listen to while I was at the shop, because I would zone out and just work on shoes for hours and hours. So I was able to keep up with pretty much every single episode.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got to the point where I was super overwhelmed, and I kind of left the sneaker space a little bit. But
Right.
coincidentally, that's when the Discord happened, and it really just reeled me back in to see people talking about sneakers in a way where I was familiar with, like you said, Nike Talk, ISS, NSB days. Like
Yep.
that's the type of sneakers that's the type of culture that I fell into. So with that said, when I started engaging with some of the dudes from the Discord, I was like, man, this is why I like sneakers. It's not because they're worth a lot or they look cool or they feel good on my feet. It's because all these years looking back of trading and collecting and buying and reselling, I've met so many good, genuinely good people that have just really enhanced my life. And I would say the sneaker history Discord, not only did it come at the right time, but man, it's just such a wholesome group of people that, even though I'm not even feeling sneakers that day, like sometimes I'll just like not even go on to it. But
Mm-hmm.
the messages that come through sometimes, like, oh man, there's a new raffle or this and that, or someone took a dub on a new sneakers app. That's cool. So then I click the link and go back in, give them props back out of the app, um, and it's just good, man. It connects me with like the type of energy that I want in my life, not the
Yeah.
negative type of energy.
Yeah, and
Um,
they're cool. Like shout out to Greg and Nick and Rohit and Robbie. You see those people, right? You see those people on the Discord. A lot of people will see like the four main, like Rohit,
mhm.
Nick, you know what I mean, so on and so forth on their YouTube and podcast. But there's a lot of great people, man, that even you have never heard of, and some it's just like it's a great community to be a part of,
Yeah,
and everybody's just genuinely happy for each other. Even when there's like a sneaker release, someone will just offer up, hey, like if somebody needs these, South Beach LeBrons, let me know.
yeah.
Someone
That's a
someone just got hooked up for retail, and
that's a
nothing
that's
more,
an
nothing
and that's a
less.
daily that's like a daily
Yeah,
occurrence, man. Like I've seen just some amazing things, like
yeah,
with the way people value it. It's totally something where everyone in that Discord values the connection more than the
yeah,
sneakers, because
exactly.
I've given away shoes,
Yeah,
you've given away shoes to me. I mean, this is just like that connection is just
yeah, yeah,
that's what it's about. It's not about one upping each other. It's really about just how can
yeah,
we help each other out. We
yeah,
have this crazy, exotic, expensive hobby, but we make the
yeah.
best out of it.
Like
We're not there to flex.
I gave away. I mean, I can tell everybody. I gave away a pair of Harachis, right? These fat pipe Harachis.
Oof. I
I
wish they
bought.
were at 12.
I know, right? I had two pairs of them, so I gave away from the for the free, because I won a Discord pair from Nick blessed me with a pair of the Reebok pumps, the Omni twos.
Yeah.
So you know what? I'm gonna pay it forward. I'm gonna bless somebody. So Greg, I told Greg, hey, like I'm giving away these sneakers. Do whatever you need to do to like find a winner. And then it was um that dude from Jersey, Andrew, the
Yeah.
guy Andrew. Shout out to Andrew. So
Yeah.
he won
Super
a
cool
pair.
cat, man.
Cool dude. I
Straight to
said,
feet, too.
yeah, straight to feet. And I was like, I was laughing, like, dude, where's the Marshalls tag? He's like, it's in the box, man. Like he said, I couldn't believe it. So like, just genuine people like that, like we just share a passion, man, and it's just cool. And it's just more in life too, talk about family, talk about
Yeah.
like
Food, man.
meet food, meetups, stuff, so on and so forth. So to all our listeners, definitely check out Sneaker History. I'm giving them a free plug. I'm not asking for
Yeah.
anything. Definitely check out their Discord. It's a great community. And then if it's something, you can definitely try it out. If it's not, it's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. So we're almost towards the end of it. Barry, appreciate your time. So my last question to you is, I usually ask a question about myself, but I'm mainly for more about you. What are 5 sneakers that you're still looking for in your collection?
It's a
Like,
good question. 5 sneakers that I
On top of
need.
your head.
Okay, let's say
Look at your offer up.
shoot. You know, I've been looking for Fire Red 4s. Fire Red 4s, the recent release. I heard that
Oh, they shot
they
up.
did, yeah, they did a really good job of those. Fire Red cement, the 2016 cements.
Which ones?
The white cement 4s.
Okay.
Yeah, the 2016 white cement 4s. You know, Fire Red 4s. I've been kind of looking for Safari Dunks, the ones that came out recently. The
Atmos?
yeah, Atmos, or either that, or if I could find a good pair of the Air Max ones, you know, I'd probably prefer that, but the
yeah.
prices are high on those.
Yeah.
Current stuff like the Para Dunks that are coming out, the SBs.
The SBs, those
are
sick.
fire, man.
Yeah.
I like those. I missed out on the first ones and never just acquired them.
Yeah.
But if not, then I'm gonna try to hunt for the Para Air Force or Air Max one. It would be basically the same vibe. What else? I mean, I'm pretty sure
there's got to be a shoe that you're like looking for like forever. What's the one shoe that you're looking for a long time?
Haze, the Haze Dunk, man. High or low, size 10 and a half to 12. I don't care, man. I just don't want to pay. You know me. Like I seen one that popped up. I think I showed it to you. $400 on eBay. It's got sole separation, yellowing. I just don't know if I'm ready to commit to 400 on like such a beat up pair. But that's one shoe that I've been looking for. Uncles, I owned a pair in the past. Sold them dead stock. It's gonna be very hard to get. Yeah, I sold them part of my collection. So I mean, someone came up on that for sure.
Yeah.
So Dunkle, let's just say Uncles, Haze, what's the other one? Dooms. If I can get my MF Doom backs, that would be great.
The OGs, not the purple ones, right?
No, the OGs. Okay. Yeah, OGs with the red laces.
Okay.
And then that's pretty much it. I would say. Maybe some Jedis again. Jeez. I mean, a lot of stuff I've had. It's just like I'm kind of trying to rebuild my old Dunk collection. That was my theory from a couple of years back when I started seeing that. I knew Dunks were gonna make a comeback at some point. I got really excited because I knew we were gonna go through this wave of like super crazy, ridiculous prices on Dunks.
Yep.
But at the same token, I knew like the OG collectors, they were gonna bring out their collection and sell them because now's the time.
Yep.
But at some point when the market drops, they've already made the decision to sell them. So they're gonna let it go for whatever it is so that they don't have to put it back in their storage.
Yep.
So I'm hoping to start reaping the benefits of that because I feel like that wave is starting to kind of dip a little bit because of all the new releases. But I mean, I don't know. Who knows? I think Dunks are gonna be here to stay for a while.
So.
I've never stopped wearing them. That's probably the one shoe. If you look back on my Instagram for years, that's like the one shoe that just pops up, once every other month, and I wear Dunks pretty frequently.
Man.
But yeah, as far as stuff I want, that. And then maybe if I get lucky, I was looking at an Air Pressure on OfferUp. Remember the Air Pressure?
With the full suitcase?
With the full thing, man, in saran wrap. I don't know. There's a size 11 and I'll send you the link.
You know what's crazy? I saw a pair of Air Pressures at Marshall's. But no case though. Yeah.
Oh,
it was a size 8.
Yeah, the command forces were chilling, and they were chilling at Marshalls and Ross for like a minute.
I saw the Spurs one.
Yeah,
those and then the Billy Oil ones. Those were like
the OG. Yeah, that's one of my favorite shoes too. It's like at the top of my list. I don't know if you can see it.
Damn, I see it.
Very top.
Damn.
And then now that you're thinking about it, one last one.
Yeah.
I'll throw out there. I got Union 1 Black Toes. That's what I want.
Wow.
So I have a Travis High and a Travis Low. So if anyone listening's got one, 11 and a half, I'll do a straight trade for the Union ones.
Straight up?
Yeah. They're clean too. My two pairs are clean. OG.
I'm sure there's a, like I said, like your
gotta be
said,
someone. Yeah.
Like your mom said, when there's a will, there's a way. I'm sure you can try to finesse a way to get a pair.
Yeah.
Without, of course you may have to give up some capital, and as when I'm in capital, like sneakers, not monetary.
No, for sure.
Yeah. So
I mean, I can't find them. They're not heavy on my target list, but I've always liked the Union. The Union one's very nice. I should have. That's a dope shoe. better than the Travis to me, at least.
That's awesome, man. So Barry, where can they find you on social media? And I also know you also have your own podcast. So tell us more
Yeah.
like where they can find you on social media.
So on social media, I got my personal page. It's at verse1 VERSEONE. For sneaker cleaning and restoration, it's Soulworks at Soulworks with an underscore. My podcast is about to be revamped. This is probably the time I needed to really, you know, be re-energized and start to put out content. So you'll see Dandon on there and RJ for
Hey,
sure.
yeah.
That's Step Into My Shoes. You can find that on all platforms, Spotify. I'm on Instagram as well, Apple Music, SoundCloud, as well as I forgot who my host is, but
Yeah, you guys
yeah,
start doing video
Spotify, Apple
content,
Music.
man.
I
Video
know, man.
content.
It's coming soon.
People
Trust
like
me.
to see stuff. Like that's honestly because like we don't have that many subscribers, but
Mm-hmm.
we see like the amount of like views. Like not in views, but we see a lot of traffic basically.
Yeah.
Not many people subscribe, but it's cool. But a lot of listening through podcasts and SoundCloud. So we see a lot of the data. So
It's
hey,
good. It's good content, man.
yeah,
Good conversations. And that's
yeah,
just be yourself, be real. And you guys are just going to continue to flourish, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Yeah. So best luck to you, Barry.
Thank you.
We'd love to have you on again. Keep up all the player prices. I'm sure you're constantly updating everybody what you picked up, what you traded, what you sold. It's a beautiful life cycle that not
Yeah.
many people understand. Your wife understands, thank
Mm-hmm.
goodness. A lot of wives be like, get rid of these shoes now, kind of thing. But yeah, man, definitely. Yeah, thanks for coming on, and yeah, best wishes to everything that you do, bro.
Likewise, man. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. It's been an honor to be on your podcast. I've listened to all the episodes, and it's great. And I mean, I'm really excited and happy that we were able to make it happen. So appreciate you, man.
All right, guys. So this is the episode 35. Have a good night, guys.
Good night.